Howdy folks, today we're going to look at the metrics of Ringspace from the Expanse and also a few of the planet and moon systems in our solar system. So we're going to start out with Ringspace. If you haven't seen the Expanse or read any of the books, then you're probably not going to know what I'm talking about. But if you have, how can you be watching this channel and not know what that is? But anyway, yeah, so if you've read any of the books or watched the shows or looked at the wiki, you know what Ringspace is. So it's basically a large sphere, empty space, as you can see here. If I turn all this off, then you can't really see. So what I've done is I put in the Earth and the Moon for scale so we can get a sense of what's going on. And I want to start out with the metrics. So they describe it as being approximately 1,000,000 kilometers. So that's what I made this, is 1,000,000 kilometers. Everything is to scale with that. So the scale of the Earth, the scale of, as you can see way down there, where'd it go? We lost it, the Moon. So yeah, the Moon is way down here. And we're going to look at how big the rings are and stuff like that in relation to the Moon. So because you know what the Moon it looks like to stand on Earth and look up at the night sky, you know, and I wanted it, that's what I wanted a sense of, you know, if you were standing on the Earth in the middle of Ringspace, what would it look like? And so yeah, we took the metrics from the I took the metrics from the wiki and from the show and the books, and that's what we did here. So these are the little rings. We can turn off the little thing, and that little yellow dot back there, that's the sun. That's our sun, because this is way back, I believe, by Neptune. And so yeah, that's about how big our sun would be from there. So what I did was inside these rings I put a little star looking thing so that you could get a better sense of, you know, what these look like and everything. And yeah, that's to scale against the Moon. So I know when you look up in the sky you feel like the Moon is like huge, this thing, but it's actually, you know, this tiny little, you can block it off with your pinky thumbnail, right, at arm's length. But anyway, I also made a finder here so you could see where the rings are, how big they are, and how far apart they are and everything. So yeah, that's how far apart they are and how big they are in comparison. Now it describes the rings and everything as there's 1,373 of them, and it says they're equally spaced. And I'm going to take this opportunity to be, you know, commander actually. And it's not intended as a nitpick because it doesn't really affect the quality of the show or anything like that, but just as a fun fact, you can't actually divide a sphere equally into 1,373, you know, the surface of a sphere equally 1,373 times. As you can see here, there's a few seams, and I'll show you how I know that because I actually made a program that does that. We'll take a look. So I made this program that actually divides spheres up into any arbitrary number that you choose for the fun of it, just to see what it would look like and everything. And then this show came out, and I'm like, hey, this would actually be useful for that. And so anyway, that's how that works. And if you want to look at that program by itself, there's a link in the description of that also, and another video on that. But anyway, so we're looking back here at our ring space, and as you can see, there are a few seams, or, you know, places that are not quite equal distance and everything. Most of them, like if you look here, they're hexagons, and that's how they show it in the show. But if you look in if you look in more detail here, you know, you can see that you can't actually do that without any seams and everything. So anyway, that's what Ringspace looks like. And I wanted to take the opportunity to look at some of the planets and stuff like that too. So we've got Earth and our Moon, and so we have a sense of that for the most part, at least from standing on the Earth and looking up at the Moon. We have a sense of what that is. Now, if I go over here, a lot of people have a very skewed idea about how far the Moon is away from the Earth compared to how big it is and stuff. And so if you look here, it's about 30 times Earth's diameter away from Earth. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a lot farther away. I know it seems like you think it's like way almost right next to the Earth, but yeah, there you go. That's about how far it is. in proportion to their sizes, relative sizes. So yeah, and then what we can do is we can do some other planets here. So let's look at Mercury. There's Mercury there. I used some textures for these so we can get a decent, look at these. And then we have Venus here, and then Earth. So as you can see, Venus and Earth are about the same size. And then we have Mars over here. Mars is shiny. They're all shiny, aren't they? I don't think they're that shiny in real life. But yeah, so there's Mars, and then we're going to do Jupiter. It's slightly big. It's a little bigger. And so with Jupiter, I wanted to get a sense of, like with the outer planets, I wanted to get a sense of their moon systems compared to ours. Now, I know Jupiter has like 70-something, that what they call moons. They're not moons. They're going to have to do what they did to Pluto, and with dwarf planets and stuff, they're going to have to redefine what they call a moon, because, yeah, it's a little ridiculous, isn't it? Because they've got like all these rocks, anything, you could have a baseball-sized rock and they could call it a moon. There's no reason, there's nothing preventing anybody from doing that. So, and there's a bunch of Jupiter's moons are actually like just little, are basically like that. They're just little rocks. So from Jupiter, this is Io. And obviously they're not always just in a straight line and everything. But there's Io and our moon and Europa and Ganymede and Callisto. And so we're going to fly out there toward Io and get a sense of where that is. So if you were standing on Io, that would be... Look at how huge Jupiter is compared to Earth, right? So that's what it would look like to stand on Io. Whoops. There we go. We get a little bit closer here. So yeah, that's about how big Jupiter would be in the sky in comparison to, even Earth, and the moon is tiny, right? So yeah, I like that. That really gives you a sense of things. Okay, and then we're going to go back out to Europa over here. We go past our moon. I know I left the moon in. I can actually turn the moon off. There we go. But I kind of like it leaving it in there for a sense of proportion again. And we'll head back out this way toward Europa. I think we'll go flying past it here. There was the rings right there, if you can see. Whoops. We can turn on our little thing. There's the ring, so that's 1 million kilometers. It's actually 500,000 kilometers away from the center of the ring space, obviously, because it's a million kilometers across. So there's Europa. Jupiter still looks Jupiter still looks huge from here, especially compare that to Earth. Where's Earth? You can't even see it behind the moon, right? It's under the pickle. Right. So yeah, there's Europa, and there's Jupiter from Europa. Let's head back out. We'll head back out to here we go. We got some coasting on here, so it just makes it feel a little bit smoother. Again, you can download this. This is on Dropbox. I put a link in the description so you can download this. This one is Ganymede, and Jupiter is still huge, isn't it? I'll bet Earth is like invisible now. Pretty much. Let's see. Zoom in and see if we can see Earth. Oh, we can kind of see Earth. It's so tiny. So there's Earth. There's Jupiter. That's so cool. All right, let's go back. We'll zoom it back out again. I think we were at about 79, 80, something like that, right? Okay. And then we're going to go out to Callisto and see how things look from Callisto. There we go. And down below you can see our position too. So there we go, and our speed and everything like that. Are we getting there? It's gonna come by any moment now. I don't want to turn around. I don't want to turn around. There it is. See? I knew as soon as I turned around it would appear. There we go. So there's Callisto. That's about what Jupiter looks like. And those are the close ones. So that's what Jupiter looks like from Callisto. That's pretty cool. And then let's check out Earth again. Zoom way in. There's Earth. And there's Jupiter. That's pretty cool. Okay, and then let's go to Saturn. We're going to check out Saturn here. There's our moon, and then somewhere down here we should see... There it is. There's Titan. Let's go out to Titan. We'll head over to the Titan. Head over to Titan. It's almost... We're moving at almost about 1/10 of the speed of light. Right here. That's our speed. That's pretty fast. So that's how long it takes at a tenth of the speed of light to get across these systems and everything. So there is Titan. I did not double check, but I'm pretty sure it's right on the ecliptic of Saturn. I'm pretty sure they are aligned with the rings, with Saturn's equator and everything. So from Titan, not that you could actually see out of the atmosphere, but you know, from just above the atmosphere of Titan, that's what Saturn looks like. That's interesting. I bet you couldn't see the rings. I don't know if it goes a little bit north and south, if it's a little bit skewed, and maybe you can see the rings go like this and this through the course of a Titanic year, Titan year. But yeah, so then there's our sphere again. That's the 500,000 kilometer mark. And there's Earth's moon. So we're going to go up here. I didn't put all of Saturn's moons. I know a lot of people don't know very many of them. At least I don't. And so the ones I know are Titan and Enceladus. And so we'll see if we can find Enceladus. It's just outside. There's the rings there. It's just outside the rings. Cool. There we go. There's Enceladus. So it's tiny, isn't it? It's so tiny. Where's its mommy? Okay, so there's Enceladus. See if we can find. There's Titan. So there's Titan in comparison. It's really bright and huge. I actually used I think I used Europa there, and I used Venus there because I did not find textures for that. But yeah, there's the rings on Saturn, and that's what Ringspace would look like from there. And so if you had Saturn in the middle. So let's check out the next one. Neptune. Oh, no, this is Uranus, and then Neptune is next. And so let's check this out. Look at our rings over here. So we've got them at the same relative angles. So let's check out Saturn. There we go. So you get an idea of the relative size and ring systems and all that stuff. So the rings are pretty big. They're almost a bit as big as Saturn's. Not quite, but they're still pretty big. So there we go. There's Earth's moon in relation to that. And I wasn't familiar with any of the moons, so I didn't put any of those in. But we're going to put in Neptune. We're going to put in, where is it? There we go. I think we have Triton. There we go. Triton is way over there. So let's go back to Neptune here. And let's check that out in comparison to Earth. There's Earth, Uranus, and Neptune. And Uranus and Earth. There we go. Just wanted to see that. And so let's go back here. And I believe, yep, there we go. That one is Triton. And Triton's pretty cool because it's got I think it's the only moon that we know of that's got a retrograde orbit and everything. And I think it even spins backwards too. So they think it didn't form with the system and it was a capture. So there we go. It's pretty close too, isn't it? Compared to, especially for the size. For the size of the planet, relative size of the planet, and how big it is and everything, it's pretty close. So that almost, I think that's actually bigger in the sky than Jupiter is from Io. That's pretty big. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I believe I used Ganymede or Callisto for that one because I don't think I had a Triton, but it looks fairly similar to that from what I recall. But yeah, there we go there. And so this would be from Earth's moon. Let's check out from Earth's moon, get a look from where that distance would be anyway. Let's look over here. Cool. And so we have one more of these. We have the Pluto and Charon system. And so look at how tiny they are. They're so tiny. There's Mercury. It's even tiny in comparison to Mercury, isn't it? There we go. There's Mercury and Pluto. Mercury, Pluto. And there's Earth and Pluto. Cool. So let's go check it out. And look at how close they are, too, compared to, Earth and the Moon. Charon's only a few of Pluto's diameters. I might have to double-check those numbers. Make sure I put it in the right spot. Because those seem really close together, don't they? But yeah, there we go. I'm sure it's because there's a much weaker, and I think they have a pretty fast orbit time too. But yeah, obviously there's a lot weaker gravity because of that. But yeah, there's Pluto and Charon. There's Luna. It's our moon. So that's what they would look like from each other if you stand on Pluto. We got some of the New Horizons images here to make the textures. And so yeah, it's actually pretty big in the sky, isn't it? It's bigger than Earth's moon, a lot bigger. It's more like what you think of Earth's moon when you look at it. Right. And let's see what Pluto looks like from Charon. We'll go sit over here. And we'll take a seat here, right? There we go. Right on the surface. And yeah, that's pretty big too. That is pretty big. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do real quick was I wanted to actually go out to the ring space and look a little bit closer at the rings. So we're going to turn this back on so we can see. And you know what? Our FOV was way zoomed in here too, wasn't it? There we go. I don't remember when we zoomed in and then forgot to zoom back out, but there we go. See how that looks. Yeah, it still looks about the same. We just didn't get as close. Okay, so let's head out to the rings again and turn those on so we can see. And we'll go out here. Just wanted to, again, get some more perspective of what this looks like to go in there. Now, I can turn on the background stars. Let's turn this off. And if we turn this off, this is what the background stars. So like if we put Jupiter back in here, where'd it go? There we go. So that's the Milky Way and all that stuff, all of our stars. If you look up here, I tried to line them up. I believe if you look up here, you should be able to find the Big Dipper north up here somewhere. Where is it? Yep. So yeah, we've got the North Star and all that fun stuff. So anyway, let's get back out to here, and we'll turn the planets off, and we'll turn the galaxy off, because all this stuff is off. And basically, if these rings were more visible, because they're very small, obviously they're very small from a distance, and so they're very hard to see, which is why I made this little visualizer thing so that we could see them. So this is about the proportions of the ring. I think I even had to make them thicker, the ring themselves thicker and really bright in order to make them visible. But yeah, so if you were to sit at one of the rings when you were to basically coming out into ring space, we can turn on a little thing here that makes them sparkle, makes them randomly sparkle. There we go, let's start doing them. So yeah, if you were able to see all the stars from there, that's what it would look like. You can see how far away they are. Zoom in a little bit here. So yeah, when you come into ring space, if they were lit up, that's what it would look like. You can see a few of the seams there too. But if they weren't lit up, it would pretty much be dark, and you wouldn't, I mean, the sun is supposed to be visible. I think the star of each solar system is supposed to be visible, but if they're like ours where it's from Neptune relatively, you know, if you're out by Neptune, then it's not going to be very bright from where it is. And I think our sun is out there somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that's a good look at the ring space. If you want to explore it yourself, or if you want to look at my Sphere Division program, both of those are available for download. You can download those, and the links are in the description. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more, you can subscribe. If you really enjoyed it, you can leave a tip too, or become a patron. That would be really cool, or use the super thanks button, or any of those. So anyway, that's going to be it for today. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later.